Are we on? Okay. The Protection and Welfare Committee for Thursday, August 4th, is now in session. Members Alder Dorf, Alder Galvin, and myself, Alder Scannell, are present. Alder Zima is tardy, hopefully. I have not heard from him, so I don't know. Can I have, before we approve the agenda, I'd like to move item number 9 to right after 3. And we need to change item 8 for an outdoor, to hold an outdoor event on September 10th, not the 24th. Change it to the 10th. So with any other changes, does anyone? Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Galvin, second by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda has been approved. Approval of the minutes. Before I do the minutes, I'll read this in to get it in. All right, we have an amendment to the minutes that were published. This is for item 17 of the last Protection and Welfare Committee. It will now be amended to include, it was explained that the development of TAN ordinance will provide a vehicle to contact residents with lead services owned by them and require them to work with the city to replace their lead service in a timely manner. At this time, private service lines needing replacement have been identified and involve approximately 210 homes. Funding has been established for this program through the city, and there is the potential of additional dollars being made available through a DNR Safe Drinking Water Loan Program. Alder Zima noted that the cost of the program is not specifically addressed in the ordinance. Staff explained that his document is not primarily a vehicle to inform residents that their service needs to be replaced.
It's this document.
Thank you. In summary, when further information on the funding is available, the committee will be informed. It is estimated to cost approximately $3,000 an average per property to replace the property-owned service line. The city has committed $300,000 to assist homeowners with the replacement costs. There are approximately 40 properties that have lead on the property owner side and utility-owned portion of the service, and therefore both sides of the surface needs to be replaced at the same time. The remaining 170 estimated properties with lead on the property owner side are properties where the utility-owned side of the service is not lead. So with that added to our minutes for the last Protection and Welfare meeting from July 11th, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The minutes are approved. Let's move right to item number 9. Item number 9. Consideration with possible action on request by Hyatt Hotel, 333 Main Street, to include an outdoor space as part of their licensed premises, which was previously discussed at July 11th, 2016 Protection and Welfare meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Well,
Or do we need?
let's hear from staff. Anything?
No, we spoke with Kevin Vonk on this, and he said that there is an agreement between RDA and the Hyatt, and that there's no problems with this outdoor event.
Okay, and
We don't have any objection at this point.
Remove to approve.
remove, yeah. So a motion by Alder Dorf to approve,
Second.
second by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Item number 4. Consideration with possible action on notice of the change of agent for Ultimate Mart LLC Cops Foods at 1819 Main Street. Staff? Joe, anything?
Let's see here.
We don't have any objection.
Yeah, no objections.
No objections? What are your wishes?
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5, consideration with possible action on an appeal by Everett Olson to the denial of his operator license application. Staff.
Staff recommends denial.
Police department agrees with that.
Okay. There are no felonies though, correct?
Can I approach?
Well,
Not
just
yet.
a second, hang on. You get your chance.
Sure.
Yes, there,
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
yeah, it's on the last page.
Oh, right there. Yep, okay, hold on. Yep, I see this. Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Olson is here, do we,
Move to open the floor.
Second?
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the floor is now open, please come up, state your name and address.
Everett Olson, 1089 Dawson Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's my certification. I'll just hand you guys a couple other things up there. So this is just my safe servers license, just stating that I took the course and that I'm certified underneath those ordinances, state legislator laws. I am aware that there is state legislator laws that says if I'm not pardoned from a felony that, you know, I can be denied, but I know that in the past that you guys have been taking into consideration in different cases, because I personally know people that do hold a bartender's license with a felony, multiple people. And I just like the chance to tell you a little bit about my situation, so you can take into consideration what's going on in my life and what I'm trying to do with my license in particular.
Okay.
So if I could start, I got a letter for recommendation for denial from Chief Andrew Smith, and I spoke with him personally just to kind of figure out what was going on with the recommendation letter itself, because I know according to some of the state statutes and laws and all that stuff that, you know, at the denial, I was trying to figure out why. He kind of told me that these letters get kind of pushed out, a blank space, fill in the name, look at the background, send it out, because they have so many people to deal with, so that they don't really take it person by person, which I can understand. So I'm here today to just kind of explain my situation particularly. So starting with that, my background is the reason for recommendation for denial, not that I'm not, you know, certified or able to serve alcohol, or that I've had any sort of situation in the past where I had a license or anything and then I got denied because of some violation, which isn't the case. My background starts with my childhood. I started out and the state took away parental rights from my parents. So in that sense, I was moved around to many different foster homes and things like that. And I was going to school for criminal justice and law enforcement at the age of 18 when I was done with foster care, on the streets, nowhere to go, no sort of program that I knew of. They do have a few out here, TLP and stuff like that, that I got in contact with through family services. And going through that, trying to juggle a social life and stuff, within not even a year of getting out of the state system, of being in foster care, within a year, I had caught a felony for a statutory sexual assault. Nothing that was, I wouldn't say it's, what's the word, it was nothing violent or forceful, but it was statutory. And I've been with my wife since the time. It carried over a year till I was 19 till they were done investigating, got in contact with me, and charged me for that felony. After that felony, my life has been near impossible to do anything. Like, it's beyond that. I've been blackballed from jobs. You know, they say that they don't tell you that it's illegal for them to do it, according to criminal arrest records and stuff, to deny you. But I've had people tell me from temp agencies when I asked them why, they would say it was because of my felony, even though it doesn't relate to that. So just because my background might say that I am a habitual offender, I just wanted to stand in front of you and not justify those offenses, but just kind of explain where they came from. So that's my felony. After that, I got in contact with my mother, who was a drug addict, and I would call her not klepto, but she was a booster. I don't know if you know the term, but she got by stealing stuff from stores and things like that. And there's a couple other members of my family that got by stealing and boosting and things like that. So she spent a lot of time in prison. That's kind of the reason why I went into the system at such a young age. So while I was in contact with her at a young age, at 18, trying to juggle going to school for criminal justice and law enforcement and trying to do something as a career, I caught a party to a crime with a family member that I was with, because being on probation, I had to answer to my probation officer. And then there's loyalty to my family, and then there's, I didn't give up any names, basically, so I took the charges. Multiple times, I took charges for somebody in my family. And that's where those thefts came from. And also on my record, I might have multiple disorderlies or resisting charges, which don't ever come with another charge. There's a detaining, and while being detained, I would be questioned. I would maybe feel that my rights were being violated, whatever the case. If there was alcohol in my system, wording gets manipulated and made, whatever those cases were, they never came with an additional charge. There was never, that I can recall, where there was a police complaint or a disturbance that involved me particularly to that area. But when the police officers would come to that area, I would give my name. I wouldn't always hand an ID, and that kind of resistance, that isn't really resistance, but making their job a little bit harder didn't help any of my situations in particular. It just escalated them and made it worse for me. And I still have that in my head that's based on growing up the way I did. It's not that I just, defy authority. It's just that I grew up not really agreeing with the way things work. And just want to kind of explain a little bit about my misdemeanors and my felony. That's really all that I have that I can think of. And I don't think it really relates to my job in particular. I do have 2 DUIs. We do not serve alcohol to the employees at my job, but I know that the license can carry over to another establishment, which is understandable. But I do not drink and drive. My last drinking and driving was, I believe, over 7 years ago. I was at a closed gas station meeting up with some friends. It was actually my wife's birthday. I was sober when I left to Appleton to pick her up. I had a couple drinks when I went there. Appleton cops, when they get done, they're on patrol looking for drunk drivers right in that area. It's a nice strip, lots of drunk drivers there. Pulled up, was suspicious activity because the gas station's closed. Came up, car was parked, started the car, DUI sort of deal. There was no damages or anybody getting hurt or injured. Not saying that, again, I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying that's what that is. So with all this in my background, it's just, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to take my bad situation and do something like with a title. Bartender, it opens up possibilities. I have a title. I took over 4 hours of a course of my time sitting there, completing something. So it's not something that I just walked into and I'm just like, asking it for free. I think I deserve an opportunity. And I don't think there's anything that I do at my workplace. I asked for my manager or business owner to be present. They have Taste of Broadway today, so they weren't able to make it, unfortunately, but they could attest to a lot and say, kind of tell you what kind of an employee I am, or, what we do there. It's basically craft beers, mixed drinks. It's a family restaurant. I'm not going to refer to another establishment, but I'm just going to say it's not like Tom Cruise's movie Cocktails. It's not that sort of deal. So what I'm really just asking is just to consider my situation in particular as what it is. It would be kind of silly to deny me even that, knowing that an owner could have a license and I could just simply serve underneath an owner or another licensed member. And what I'm really trying to do is just provide for my family. That's it.
Questions? You don't have to ask questions. Just ask
No, I
it.
know. All right, let me just ask, and I'm paraphrasing here, maybe you can repeat what you said, but growing up, the way you grew up, you said something to the effect of not agreeing with the way things are run, and that's why you did some of the things you did. What has changed?
I still don't agree with a lot of things. I like the fact that we do have some sort of system. I don't agree with the way everybody in the system works it. I don't like the fact that people have names, but people don't, like this situation here is rare for me. I came in front of the city council for my residence to be able to live in Green Bay. And otherwise, if I wouldn't have had a residence, I was trying to find a place to stay in an apartment complex. With that in your record, it's like near impossible. So they don't, when you give them the application, that alone is like, they're not looking at the person in front of them, they don't really care. But something like this, I agree with completely. You know what I mean? You're giving me an opportunity to speak. I've had that in court, opportunity to speak, and I don't feel that it's always, it goes down the way it should, you know. I could speak for myself, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the law. And even if I try to pretend like I did, I'd probably just look ridiculous, and I don't think anybody would take me serious because I don't have any certificates. But to answer your question, what's changed since then is that from when I was a child looking at the system, I still don't agree with a lot of the how they put kids in foster care and stuff like that. But to talk about how if you have a police call, I don't agree with Terry stops and detaining and then getting charges for resisting and disorderlies. And I don't agree that on an application somebody should have to check felony. I don't agree with that at all. And I don't think that's fair. I think it's kind of blackballing somebody, saying it sort of feels like at some points that I'm a man without a country because I'm not allowed to vote and I'm not allowed to leave, you know, and I can't get a job. So that's, I don't know. I don't know if I completely, I mean, I still have the thought in my head that I don't agree with a lot of things. I don't think everybody agrees completely with everything that happens. But
you're responsible for all of the things
I'm
that
learning.
you did.
I'm learning a lot more.
Responsible.
I take responsibility for a lot of the things. I know how they went down. To explain them to everybody would be great if I could explain to everything that's on paper to everybody. If I could tell everybody how everything went down, that'd be great. There's not excuses. I don't believe in excuses. It just, things happen the way they happen for a reason. I mean, I've taken different approaches to police stops. I have 2 members of my family that are on the Green Bay Police Force now. Not that that makes any difference, really, but I just look at it as anybody could, not anybody, I couldn't make it, but you gotta look at people individually. I guess I didn't always do that. So how you guys are looking at me right now individually is a way that I have to look at people that work for the system individually, is that they're not all the same, so.
And another question, you said, I believe you said the last GRI was 7 years ago, but I have down that in 2012, you were, you had an OWI second offense. That's,
2012,
yeah,
I'm not certain of the date.
okay. And my last thing is, I have 12 municipal charges in front of me. I actually have more than 12, but some of them were dismissed without prejudice. And then 13 state, I think that's state charges. Circuit court charges. This 25
How many circuit court charges?
13.
I'm not aware of any of those. Those might be traffic or something.
Well, this disorderly
prob-
conduct, resisting.
I think I kind of explained how those work. I'm sure you guys are aware too. Disorderly conduct and resisting charges. I'm not going to say it in every case. They're used in the same way, but it's kind of used to stick the charge, or when there's not a charge, you kind of get stuck with those. If there's a police call or disturbance call that doesn't pertain to the person in hand and the person gets detained, they can just say that they were standing in a boxer stance, or they can say they tensed up. Simple enough, and you get resisting. And that's generally, I'm very outspoken. I'm not afraid to say what, I mean, sometimes I'm obviously really nervous right now, but I know if I don't say what I have to say, nobody's gonna say it for me. But a lot of times when people are just trying to do their job and you're trying to explain yourself, they're not trying to hear it. They're just trying to tell you something. And in all those situations, I was trying to talk. I was trying to explain myself, and it didn't work out.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay, Everett, you say you're trying to improve yourself, and the way to do this is through being a bartender.
I don't know if that'd be the best words. This would be a step in the right direction for me.
So you work for a restaurant that does something other than just serve liquor.
Yeah, we also serve pizza, calzones, pastas, strombolis, subs. We got just about everything you think of, ice cream.
So they won't hire you unless you're a bartender?
I'm already hired through the company.
So-
They gave me the opportunity to do something that I feel is a title that not everybody else can just do.
Does the bartending job pay you more than working in the kitchen?
Yeah, I would say that it does,
But
definitely.
you couldn't pursue a career as a cook or something like that?
As a cook, personally, could I? I hate cooking. I've been a prep cook. I work at Country Kitchen. It's hot. Not that I mind the hot. I do, sort of, but it's not my thing. I could definitely pursue it. It's just not. I don't want to. I've done production for over 6 years because of my feeling that that's the only route that I could have taken. I could have went to school for a welder or something else too, but I don't want to be stuck in a shop. I like working with the general public. I like making people laugh. I like making people smile. I like them knowing my name and saying goodbye to me, and having that connection with people is more important than sitting back, pushing out dough. You know what I mean?
I guess my other question for you is, like Alderman Dorff pointed out, you have an extensive arrest history. And much of your explanation, all we get is your side of the story. We're not getting the details from the officers, although you explain it off as whenever you just happen to be in one of these contacts with the police, if they're looking for something to hit you with a disorderly conduct and a resisting arrest.
Yeah, generally.
And I kind of find that hard to believe.
I'm not saying every time.
Well,
I'm saying each one of those situations doesn't have an actual charge besides those 2 charges. There wasn't a police call in for me. There was just a detaining.
well, we don't know what the initial contact was for.
Yeah, you don't have, I've asked.
We don't have that here. But what I see is a continued disregard for the law.
I wouldn't say that I'm habitual. I would say that obviously my record's extensive. I'm 30 years old. Would say that, a lot of people at least have a couple things on the record. Percentage of United States, America incarcerated is pretty huge in comparison to the rest of the world. So I would say comparison to population of the United States, my record probably is pretty minor. Is there misdemeanors?
Everett, I'm not gonna get into a back and forth with you here.
Sure.
I'm looking at a record to me seems extensive. From the people I know that I associate with, people I meet on the street and things like that, it's an extensive record.
Question?
Now, I guess the question is, what are our guarantees? I mean, just back here last year, you've got,
I'm not trying to barter for my
well, I'm not
bartender's
worried, but I
license.
mean, what are the guarantees we're not gonna have some other issues with you?
In my workplace,
Well, 6 months down the road, I mean,
in regards to my workplace, my bartender's license, I don't think I've ever had an issue with inside of my employer's business or anything like that. I think I'm pretty professional, and the public coming into an establishment where I'm responsible for their safety, I'm capable. Obviously, a lot of people can take the test, but I just want the opportunity. And looking at my background, it doesn't say that I'm not capable of performing that at all.
and if the police walk in to investigate a situation in a restaurant, and you don't care for the way or agree with the way they're acting, what kind of cooperation can we expect from you? What kind of response can we expect?
I'm not sure of the situation. If I feel like anybody was violating a citizen's rights, whether they're wearing a badge or not, I feel that I would do the right thing. But if they were asking me something within the law and within my responsibility as somebody that works for Glass Nickel Pizza or whatever bar, I'm sure I would be cooperative. It doesn't really
Unless
pertain
you
to
don't
me.
agree with them.
I'll do what, I don't know what it would be or what you're referring to exactly. I wouldn't deny them any information in their investigation. If they were trying to investigate something, why would I withhold any information? Or why would I be uncooperative with, you know what I mean? In my past situations have nothing to do with my employment or anything to do with my licensings for a bar. They have to do with things that have nothing to do with that at all. Like, they're completely different. And if we had to go through every one, I would, but I don't have enough here to show you that it's not just my word, you know? But they just do not relate at all with my bartender's license.
I've got nothing further.
Well, I think it's pretty much, until you covered my questions, I think. I think the biggest concern is, well, no, that's not a question. I'll just hold it off. Thank you. So
Thank you.
we'll discuss it up here then.
All right.
And then I'll take a motion to
Move to close the floor.
we'll discuss it and then.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion by Alder Dorf to close the floor, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
And before we go further, I was remiss at the beginning to say that everything we do here is just a recommendation
Mhm.
for the full council. So, and that's the 16th?
16.
So next, Tuesday the 16th, 7 o'clock, right next door is where the final say will happen. So if you're not happy with what our decision is, you can certainly bring it to your case to the full council and give it a shot there. So with that said, discussion? Any?
Once again, I have one thing to add.
Oh, certainly.
I believe Mr. Olson was in the clerk's office either this week or last week, and he asked if he was denied, if he could get a refund for his application. And the Protection and Welfare Committee is the only committee that has the authority to make that decision. So I think he would want to know if you guys would also.
I would ask that my application stay open. If I'm denied, then obviously I'd ask for the refund. So if the decision hasn't been made already, which I'm sure that it hasn't because you said you still have to discuss it, I would not ask for the refund right now.
Okay, then, if we end up denying it, we could put that in, that if it's denied at council, if we so choose to make that a part of it, that, yeah, and I think,
That's reasonable.
that sounds reasonable if we go that way. So we just
I
make that.
would hope that
Mhm,
but
yeah. Yep.
I'll discuss. I have some great concerns on this one. I didn't hear enough from Everett to convince me that he really accepts responsibility for what he's done and that he is willing to change. However, looking at it in a few years from now, if we have a few years without any violations of the law, I'd be willing to reconsider. Right now, I don't know that I could support getting a license.
Everyone
have-
deserves a second chance. And Everett certainly deserves a second chance. But I also don't think, it seems like he accepts responsibility for all of his actions. And he has excuses as to why he was arrested, which blames it more on the police than on himself. I have concerns, does some of his past things have any bearing on being a bartender? I certainly don't think so. But my concern is, and like my last statement, question I asked you is what would happen should the police be conducting an investigation and you weren't to agree with it? And so, based on that, I'm not in favor.
Okay, for myself, I think you're a very articulate young man. Well, young, 30, but
middle-aged.
to me, you're young. And I would recommend that, right at this point too, I'm also going to recommend, go for the denial. There was, in the past, I based my exceptions on length of time.
Mhm.
That if enough time had gone by, then what had happened in the past was no longer relevant. There isn't that length of time. Lately, I've been changing that up a little. I'm not gonna go into all that, that's just way too much, but I would consider this more than I would in the past. But I think to hear from your bosses would be key, and if they can't come Tuesday,
Right.
letters,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, it's just me up here with the background. so-
Right. So the more support you can garner, that, the better. I am a little concerned, as Alder Galvin has mentioned, that I like you got the fire in the belly, but there are times where it's best just to step back and be as cooperative and, you know, on the situation that you can, and then take up the disagreement in a more at a court or whatever, you know, instead of right there at the point.
I'm submissive to the law. and
Oh, but I'm sorry, you can't. we're
Yeah,
not-
it's closed.
It's closed,
I
sorry.
understand.
If you have something to say, we
I'll
can
take
open the
it
floor
on in.
again.
I'll take it in.
Okay. So, yeah, you have a very combative nature, and on one hand, I kind of like that. On the other hand, I can see how I can be concerned if ever in your position, we need cooperation, and even if it's mishandled, that cooperation, it's not a call for other people to make, it's certainly not at the time. So I do have a few reservations, and, but I will, depending upon council, if you can bring in some more support, I might change my mind, but as of right now, I'm also going to deny. So, I'll take a motion.
Move to deny.
Second?
Moved by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor? Aye. Did you want to make a statement?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sure.
Move to open the floor.
Second?
Gotta follow the rules.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All that I'm asking is, simple question. If I were to get the approval, it would have to be based on 3 people's recommendation over the 5 right now, but there's also another alderman, correct? So here, there's gonna be 6 people, correct?
No,
And then-
No, just us 3.
No,
Just-
just the alders.
Just the alders,
And
they
city
don't
council.
have no vote at council.
Okay.
So there'll be 12 of us at council.
So you're just saying bring in some,
I would say bring in as much support as you can, and think about how you can be maybe a little more cooperative, and think about that. And I'll open the floor for you
right?
if you show up, and I'll pull the item, and we can discuss it. We'll do just like we did here, full council,
Right.
and you'll have a chance to say, and anybody you bring, or if they have letters, you'll be able to submit those, and then the full council will decide.
Alrighty. Sounds good. That's on Tuesday, correct?
The 16th, not
16th.
16th.
I think I'm be on vacation.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to North Carolina, so I don't know if I'll be able to make that one. Can I go to another one, or?
I tell you, well, maybe, before we go any further, if we wanted to amend that if we do deny, he would be allowed to be reimbursed his, so we gotta redo that, don't we?
Would that close my application?
Would he be able to go to the next council meeting in September to appeal it?
We could hold
There you
it,
go.
Is that up to Vanessa, or?
we could hold this item.
Yeah, if you could hold it, that'd be appreciated. I mean, otherwise,
I think
the $35, I would rather not have it and
I
have
think what
the.
you'd have to do is hold it, and then at the next PNW meeting in September, rehear it and make a re-recommendation for it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
we'll hold this item.
Hold on.
You
Oh, wait.
You've already held the hearing, so you don't have to redo this process again. You can hold the item and
Okay.
then make the final determination at the next PW meeting. But you don't have to go through the whole hearing again. You would just literally be doing the actual decision.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll hold it now. At the next PNW meeting, we will deny it with the caveat that you can get your money back. And then at the following council, you'll be able to, so it'll be in
Sounds good.
September.
Sounds good. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you'd want to just hold it open to make your decision at the next PNW meeting.
Okay. So
Yep, so,
do you need us
we
to
need
withdraw
to-
the motions then, or?
The other option too, if you wanted to receive additional information from him prior to going to council, you can hold it open for that purpose as well. It's up to the council or to the committee.
Well, if at the next PNW, you should be able to at least have the letters and everything, maybe we should just hold it and.
You guys can hold it for as long as you like. I mean, it's $35, but when I do get the denial, if I do get the denial,
Then we'll-
then I
yep,
mean, there
yep.
we go.
Yep, okay, so we'll hold it,
Till the next
we'll hold it to next meeting.
It's a pleasure of the board.
Okay.
Yep, yep, we'll hold to the next meeting, and you can come to that meeting
Mm.
with everything, or we can always, you can do it at the
At
council,
city.
and we can pull
And I
you
can
in.
contact the clerk's office to figure out when that date's gonna be exactly.
Yeah, it'll be, well, it's published on the, on our website, Green Bay City website, and, yeah, you can, or contact the clerk's office, anybody's office.
Okay, sounds good, thanks for your time.
Right.
So, do we
Move to
withdraw?
close the floor.
Oh, you,
Move to close the floor.
yes, move to close the floor, thank you.
Move to close the floor.
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf to close the floor, seconded by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now, do we need to withdraw?
The motion.
Yeah, withdraw it, and then
Okay, I would like to withdraw my motion. Second.
Second?
Motion to withdraw by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll take a new motion.
Motion to hold till our next P and W meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Galvin, seconded by Alder Dorf, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was interesting. On to item 6. Consideration with possible action on request by the owners of Buddha's Still Sports Bar and Grill, 2148 University Avenue, to hold an outdoor event on August 28th. Staff.
is this,
Number 6.
I reviewed the
Buddha's.
plan. I don't have any objections there.
no objections?
No objections?
I'd like to abstain from this
You
discussion.
gonna abstain? There's 2 of us. Is that a
We're not gonna
is
do
that a problem then?
No, it's not. You can, it's the vote is of the number of people who are present, so you have a majority.
Okay, so
To
your abstain vote is still a vote. Yeah, okay. Good. Well,
Make a motion to approve?
motion, I'll second that. Motion by Alder Galvin, seconded by Alder Scannell. All in favor?
Aye.
And 1 abstention.
Abstention.
Alder Dorf abstains. Item 7, consideration with possible action on request by Green Bay Sports Service Incorporated, 1265 Lombardi, to hold an outdoor event on September 3rd. Staff.
No objections.
No objection.
I'll move to approve.
Did you want to speak anything, or if we approve it, you're fine, or?
I'm good if you approve it,
Okay,
for an outdoor event related to the Badger game.
okay, yeah.
Oh, oof.
Motion by Alder Dorf to approve,
Second?
second by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Nope, you're good.
Thank you. Great.
Item 7, consideration with possible action on request by Green Bay Sports Service Incorporated, 1265 Lombardi.
Wait, you
Didn't I just
did
read that?
You did.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
number eight.
Number
8. Too early for this. Number 8, consideration with possible action on request by Brewski's on Broadway, 1100 South Broadway, to hold an outdoor event on September 10th. Staff.
We don't have any objection.
There's no recommendations.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Galvin to approve, seconded by Alder Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We already did number 9. Let us go to item 10. Consideration with possible action on application for a Class B combination license by Sarah Melissa Wolf at 636 Limekiln Road, formerly Whiskey Bar.
No recommendation.
No objections.
I'll move to approve.
Just, if we could open the floor.
Well, you can second it for
Second.
discussion.
For discussion.
Okay. Motion by Alder Dorf, seconded by Alder Galvin for discussion. And you want to open the floor?
Motion to open the floor?
Motion by Alder Galvin to open the floor.
Second.
Second by Alder Dorf, all in favor? Aye. There here, someone here for this item? Please state your name and address.
I'm Sarah Wolf. My address is 1379 Rush Street.
Just one question for you. You used to work for Nick's on Main Street,
I did.
and we've had certain issues with that owner and that bar going back quite a ways. Were you ever part of those issues?
I was there for just about 2 years. And that was, my last day was February 15th of just this past year. So I don't believe I've ever, I know that there was issues with that place and that owner before I was even there.
Right.
So, I don't know exactly what you're asking.
Well, I
I
guess-
never had any direct,
You were never part of the arrests or
Oh,
any
no, no.
violations or anything like that?
No, no.
And you don't plan on operating your facility?
no, I'm not there anymore because of the way that it was going.
Okay.
So, that's why I'd like the opportunity to.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything else you care to add, or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close.
Motion to close the floor.
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf, close floor, seconded by Alder Galvin, all in favor?
Aye.
What are your wishes then?
Motion approved.
Well, we've got that, so.
Oh, we already have it.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous. Item 11, consideration with possible action on application for an available Class B combination license by El Presidente Green Bay LLC at 219 North Washington Street.
Is there no recommendation?
We have no objections.
Okay, your turn.
I have a motion, well, I have a question, so.
Oh, well,
Motion.
we could open the floor. A motion to open the floor.
Okay.
Motion to open the floor.
Motion open the floor. And a second.
And your second. Okay, motion by Alder Galvin to open the floor, second by Alder Dorf. All in favor? Aye. Floor is now open. If anyone's here to begin this matter. If you give us your name and address, please, and. Name and address?
Marco Zapata, 840 Park Street,
Okay.
Pipil.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Yes, the place you're gonna be opening up, 219 North Washington, is there currently a tavern there?
No, it's been vacated for a couple of years now.
It's been vacant? Okay, and I guess I'm asking staff, it's come up before that I thought there was a moratorium on liquor licenses for the downtown area.
I don't think there is. I've talked to the community police in the area, and they're looking forward to their business coming in. So I haven't heard of any program.
Is there any way of checking?
Yeah, we can get back to you on that. I don't know if this is time sensitive.
Yeah, if we held this up for 1 month, would that be, create a problem for you for opening? Do you have,
That month, what will imply, what day?
it would be 1 month from now that we
Now?
would open it up again. We,
Maybe in
Yeah, but
September,
That
September,
wouldn't go till city council.
till mid-September.
till mid-September.
We were planning on opening by the first week of September.
Okay.
It will be very close, so even us, we can be late for a couple of days. So we could be very close.
Well, it would be longer than that because nothing would be final until it went to council. We just do a recommendation. So maybe we can,
What would happen if we granted the license?
and there's a
then find out
moratorium.
later on there's a moratorium. Well, it's not final until it goes to council, so we would be able to find out by then, will we not?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
all right.
Did that?
No, no.
Yeah.
No?
She's got that ooch look.
Don't we know if there's a moratorium or not?
I imagine Kristen.
Yeah, that's who I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while since we granted a new liquor license on downtown, I think, but I don't think, I don't remember hearing about a moratorium, but, yes?
For what they told me that they were like, they had like 5 or 6 available.
Right, we have available licenses, but the problem is that doesn't mean we should just hand them out. So if there's a moratorium in a certain area, the idea was to reduce or limit the amount of liquor establishments. At one time, Washington Street and all of Broadway was nothing but liquor establishments, and we had nothing but problems because there was too much alcohol, and the city struggled with how to alleviate some of that. And at one time, I thought we were talking about, or there was, a moratorium on how many liquor licenses were allowed in a certain area.
Right. Would that help for us that we are focusing as a restaurant, as a tavern like we used to be?
It's a
Uh,
restaurant.
Oh, it's a restaurant?
It's a restaurant, full-service restaurant.
Yeah, they're in De Pere.
Yeah, they're also.
So I blew up.
What?
Yeah, they're a restaurant.
They're a restaurant. So
Well, but it's still a liquor license.
It's
if
still a
there's
liquor
more-
license,
I don't know how
but
that
it's a little
works.
different if it's a restaurant.
Our operations will be different as a tavern.
Certainly, yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and that was part of the issue we had back on Broadway Street too, was there was an establishment that was open allegedly as a restaurant, which turned into a liquor establishment.
Mhm.
And it became a huge problem
Right.
for the
Right.
police
But
department.
El Presidente there is one in
There is,
Pier.
yeah.
There is
Yep,
one in
yep.
Piers.
So it's,
So there's some,
Okay.
Our operations is 11 a.m. in the morning up to 11 on Fridays and Saturday, 10 a.m., 10 until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, Sunday and Mondays, 9 p.m.
9.
Okay, and we can hold that to them because it's in their security plan, so if they violate it, then we can
Okay.
go forward with that. All right. I'm satisfied.
is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that would be. It.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, motion to close the
Move to
floor.
close the floor.
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf, to close the floor, second by Alder Dorf, Alder Galvin. All in favor? Aye. Floor is now closed.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Alder Galvin,
Second.
second by Alder Dorf, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If there is a moratorium, would we'll take care of it, but we know by council and we can address that then if that's an issue, or I mean, with moratoriums, are there exceptions even? Is there a way to, or how that even, I don't even know.
After watching city government, I think there's always exceptions.
Yeah. But, okay, it's approved for now, it'll go to council
I'd like to-
16th.
Yeah, I guess on a side note, I'd like to hear from staff, if we could, at least for us sitting here in this position, if we could get all the ins and outs of the liquor agreements and rules that have been established over the last 10, 15 years, so we're not putting ourselves out there unnecessarily.
We had some, I think a year ago we got something, but, and I don't remember anything about a moratorium.
And Alderman Zima brought it up on Broadway Street, about Broadway Street and that kind of stuff, so I mean, it's just something we should be aware of, so we don't.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
She's staff.
Yes?
Yes, I think that, part of the issue is regarding the moratorium really centers around whether or not they have food. And so there was an attempt to limit the number of license holders that were purely, mostly alcohol and not
Right.
restaurant. So, but we will definitely.
That was the problem with 5-6. There was
Among
that whole,
other
what percentage is food and what
Crickets,
percentage
season of
is.
one, and
Yes.
so, yeah.
Was 501, 6 of the other?
Yes.
All right, item
Item 12. Consideration with possible action on application for a Class B combination license by El Tapatio Bar and Grill LLC at 1706 Main Street, currently Maldonado's.
That's Abrams and,
There's no recommendation.
No. Not-
I talked to District Captain Brad Florence, he has no objections.
Okay. What are your wishes?
move to approve.
second.
Moved by Alder Dorf to approve, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. So, this goes to council on the 16th. Okay. Item 13. Consideration with possible action on request by the Village of Ashwaubenon for the city of to transfer 3 of its Class B reserve combination licenses to the village pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 125.51, subsection 4, subsection E. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, what you're looking at and trying to do is a potential transfer agreement. The city met with the Ashwaubenon to determine what they were looking for, and then we decided what terms were in the city's best interest. Under the statute, the transfer fee cannot be less than $10,000, hence the $10,000 fee. We also added a requirement that $500 per year be provided to the city once we hit all of our quotas. This way, the city's not ultimately losing revenue they would have been entitled to by virtue of transferring these licenses. The other thing that we've included in here is a requirement of, actually, let me change that. It should, number 3 would change from revocation and liquidated damages to just revocation. Essentially, what the city has decided that is if the village tries to poach any of its existing businesses or tries to compete with the city in any way, then the village would lose its right to this, to the licenses under the agreement. And those would be automatically reverted back to the city. The requirement for liquidated damages we felt was unnecessary, hence why that's all been removed. Because once they no longer have that license, they can't play ball anymore anyways. And then the last thing that we really added, these are all in 2, 3, and 4, is a right of first refusal. So we've included in here is, should the city ever feel the need to purchase its licenses back, it has the right to do, or to get its licenses back, it has the right to do that at no cost. The reason it's at no cost is because this amount that's being paid, the $10,000 fee, is being paid by the applicant, not by the city or the village itself. And so the city should not be penalized by having to pay an additional $10,000 back, even if it's ultimately going to be paid by an applicant, if it decides that it wants those back, because the city may have to do it before it has an applicant ready. So,
Sorry.
what you guys are doing is just deciding those terms that are acceptable to you. If you want to change any of them, this is just a draft, and we are able to make any changes still at this point.
So by state statute, they pay us $10,000.
Correct.
We can't dicker up, down, or sideways.
You can go up, you can't go down. The reason we chose 10,000 was it was a good faith effort. We're trying to support the Titletown district. The requirement is that they have to use it in the Titletown district only. And so we're being good neighbors and agreeing to let them do this.
Does this, there was something in the paper, obviously, and I didn't read it in detail about the state creating more licenses for Ashwaubenon?
I do not know anything about that.
Yeah, they were granted more,
Well, okay.
but we've got,
Can he speak to that now, or do we have to open the floor?
we know we need to open the floor.
Okay, well.
Is there anything else?
Oh, no,
I
yeah,
have a question on
I
this,
just-
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so that one aside, so once we sell it to them, it's kind of their license.
Correct.
We would get $500 a year for the use of that license. If we want it back, or if we need it back, we can get it back, correct?
If it's not currently being used.
If it's not currently being used. If it's being used, too bad for us. If it's not being used and we need it back, then we would pay them.
If it's currently being used, I don't see any way for us to get
Right.
it back. We'd have to go and seek to purchase one from somebody else.
Right, so
ourselves.
if it's not being used, do we pay them to get it back?
If it's not being used, we would not pay them. We would just tell them we want it back.
And we get it back? Go ahead.
Okay. Number 8, I think there's too many negatives in there, okay? Neither this agreement nor the license shall not be trimmed. Just take out the not.
Yes.
Okay. What?
That's good.
Yeah.
I had my head, something was going on there. How many licenses does the city of Green Bay have available right now?
I do not remember the exact number. I know that there are a certain number, I think it's like 6 or 7 of the regular licenses that are currently available, and then the reserve licenses, I think it's still like 10 or something. So I think there's about 17 or so, but I'm not entirely sure
Okay.
about the number.
All right.
Either way, we're not close to exhausting it.
Asking your opinion, I mean, have you looked at how other communities handle this? How does this look to you?
I drafted the contract.
So it's great.
Looks good.
I mean, do many other communities do this?
It's a new statute, so I'm not sure if others are really doing it yet or not.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm good with
Any other questions?
that. Okay.
Good job, looks like a good job. Motion to open the
Open the
floor.
floor.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Gallon to open the floor, seconded by Alderman Dorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is now open. Could you please step forward and state your name and address?
Hi, Mike Gobbinger, 2152 Hilltop Drive in the Village of Ashwaubenon. I'm here on behalf of the village because the clerk, who I stand in for obviously, could not make it today at another appointment. We met with Representative Stefan to figure out how to increase the number of liquor licenses we have with the advent of the Titletown District. Without that, we wouldn't be seeking that, but there are certain liquor licenses that are necessary for that. We're at quota because the quota is based on the number of population you have. And so we're at quota right now. We have a large district of business, and of course, we probably have more licenses than a normal community of 17,000 would have. So when we met with him, we discussed a way to get more licenses, and he said, well, I'll put together legislation granting you one license at $30,000, and then you can buy licenses from other communities. So we did contact other communities to see the interest level, etc. There was some interest level there. You have the most available, so we came here first. We met with Mayor Schmidt at the time. Was very gracious and cooperating with it, and that's where we are. So actually, they created one at $30,000. Understand when businesses go out, we use those licenses first because they're only $520. So, but we don't. But if necessary in the Titletown area, and we think we may need 3 to 4 licenses in there eventually. I don't know if some of them will be off of yours or some will abdicate from other businesses that close and then be used there. But we want to sort of safeguard the fact that that economic development, which benefits both Village of Ashwaubenon and the City of Green Bay and your new Tundra Lodge Uptown District, will all be safe.
Okay, so you don't necessarily have a specific need for these right now, you're just hedging your bets for the future.
Right, you know, what we're looking for is, we have Lodge Kohler, which has a liquor license. They don't need our liquor license. They're exempt by a state quota liquor license because they have a restaurant of over 125 and a bunch of hotel rooms. So they get a separate license, they're not in our quota. Same thing with larger banquet rooms. I don't think Hinterland is in our quota for the same reason. They have a big enough banquet room. But eventually we're gonna get people like TGIF or Chili's or somebody like that who's going to want to go into that area, then we won't have a license for them.
Okay.
And we have checked with our license providers, and most of them have, if they qualify for that state exempt license, they've already returned their license to us so we can reissue it.
Okay.
Most of them, not all of them, but I think there's 2 that didn't.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yep, me too. Missed you this morning, though.
Huh?
Missed you this morning, though.
I couldn't make it. I was in a meeting and I went too long and I couldn't make it. Sorry. But I've seen water before. I'm okay.
Okay. I ate your muffin.
Did you?
Yes.
I'm glad it didn't go to waste.
Motion to close the floor.
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf to close the floor, second by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is now, floor is now closed. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve?
Second?
Motion by Alder Dorf to approve, second by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The heck did it go?
Oh,
Thank you.
someone's starting to pop up here. There we go.
Number 14, consideration with possible action, a request by Alder Scannell to amend the mobile food establishment ordinance during Packer games.
What does that mean?
What it means is right now, the ordinance reads that truck cannot go in residential areas. And if we open that up to, if you go to zone, if you go to page in your packet, I can't read that out. 16H. Okay.
Can I, Todd, you want to get going?
Yeah, I can just tell you that John Laux just texted me, he's the district C captain. He does not believe there is a moratorium because there used to be one, but there isn't anymore because of so many open businesses down there, they released the moratorium.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We should have figured. Lox
Just
said
'cause you
no.
like Hispanic food.
I do, it's good.
Lox has got a lock on it.
Yeah, he's from the UP. I take everything he says with a grain of salt. It's salsa.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
I just thought you might want to get out.
Yes, I appreciate
I can
that.
tell you were eager to be here in the first place.
I'll be back.
It's been, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If we look at 8 on that page, a mobile food establishment may be permitted in all zoning districts except within any residential zoning district. The subsection shall not apply to ice cream trucks.
So,
So we want to put them in?
Well, it'd be during packing, and I don't know, is there a way to to limit the area, and what that would, how would we,
So,
we could say open residential, open it, we don't want them in, on Huron Road.
yeah, I think whatever you guys, or the council decides to do, you'd have to amend whatever ordinance, either, you especially have to amend that one. You can create a zone. I think another question was also whether or not the food trucks could be on private property, and that is a different ordinance. I just want to bring that up so you guys are aware of it. That, so you know how people park their cars before they go to the game, people,
Yep.
they do that. I think the question was, could you get a food truck on someone's lawn? And that is also not permitted, only, I think it's residentially permitted vehicles can park on the lawns as well. So I don't know if a food truck would want to do that, but that would, if they did, instead of park on the street, park on the lawn, that'd also have to be amended. But looking at this one, where residential districts don't allow sales, you would either create a district or you just change that.
Would we almost not want them on the street?
well, I guess my question is.
I think we'd almost want them on a property.
Has someone approached you about this?
Yes.
I guess my concern is that we're hearing an awful lot about these temporary residential homes.
Homes, yes.
And you see where Ashwaubenom's struggling with it, you see where other cities struggling with it. This is another, to me, another foot in the door for another business to try and go into the residential areas. I think about the parking on the streets. I think about one of those trucks trying to maneuver it up and down the street. I'm wondering what the neighbors would say about it. I mean, there certainly is enough going on around the stadium. I'm just kind of wondering, why would they want to get onto a residential street or get onto a residential private property so removed from the stadium, unless they're looking to get on like an Oneida Street or Ridge Road or trying to catch the people walking, or on the Lombardi Avenue onto the back lawns there.
Yeah, we did not have that in-depth of a conversation. Unfortunately, he could not be here. He is at the farmer's market on Military Avenue.
Can he wait then?
Well,
This is something I guess I'd like to, obviously the feedback from the neighbors, I mean, I'm all about giving a guy a chance with a business, especially, there's enough going on there. I don't see where a food truck or two, but does this turn into 10 or 20? Do we have neighbors complaining about trash in their yards?
oh, they have to clean up. That's
Well,
part
they
of
have
it.
to, but, I mean, there's a lot of, people are supposed to have to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they don't do it, and then it creates a problem. And then once you're in, once the horse is out, it's hard to get them back in.
Is there a neighborhood association in that area or not?
Trying
Like,
to think.
Sure.
I mean,
But-
are they aware? I mean, are they supportive? or-
I don't think it's really been.
I don't think we've gotten that far, but, I mean, I'm not saying no to the idea,
Right.
but I just think there's a lot of questions that I have, and I'm sure they would have some concerns.
I was going to say that the questions you have are things that, so regardless of what decision you make, if you want to allow it, it would have to be done through a zone change. And a lot of the questions you have are things that could be addressed during a zoning hearing. And so referring this to Plan Commission for them to do a review of it is probably the best option at this point.
That's why we hired.
We're gonna punt the ball?
No, you're
Yes.
gonna send it to the right court.
All right,
I have no problem.
I motion what she said.
Would you refer to the plan commission? Is that what you
Yes.
meant?
Yeah, so,
Okay. And then I'll second that motion.
okay, we have a motion to refer this item to Planning Commission. They meet, well, I guess their next meeting, whenever that is, we don't have to know right now, so.
They are meeting next week. I'm not sure if it's too late to get onto the
It's
agenda.
the 8th.
Tuesday?
24 hours.
Well,
We need, or do you need 48?
Monday? I think they meet on Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Friday, should be able to get it on there.
Monday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so if the packet goes out tomorrow, maybe?
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get it to planning commission. This, we're gonna refer to
Right.
planning commission. If they get it on, they get it on. If they don't, they don't. Hopefully they will. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
We did have a motion in a second, right?
Yep.
We did, okay. And I think I said who did it. Okay, and opposed? Nope, motion carries. All right. Last item, item 15, consideration of request by Alder Emmett that the city attorney provide a lettered opinion to the city council as well as the citizens of Green Bay regarding the constitutionality of the following. A, the city of Green Bay's code of conduct. B, the application of the city of Green Bay's ethics code outside of financial conflicts. Yes.
So I've been looking into whether or not this is something that my office can undertake. And in reviewing the rules of professional conduct that are adopted by the state of, or the Supreme Court of Wisconsin and govern all attorneys that are licensed to practice in the state, there's no way for me to do it. The reason is because I am obligated to represent the city and the city's interests. And so having to defend a position that has been taken by the city, which is we have adopted an ordinance, we're going to move forward, assuming this ordinance is accurate. There's no way for me to actually look at it without running into a risk of having to potentially declare it void. So because there's a risk, the language they actually state is if there is a significant risk that my representation of one or more clients will be materially limited by my responsibilities to my client, which is the city, I can't do the representation. Here, even though the city is my client, there are multiple clients as part of that. So the city acts through the council, which is one client. It also acts through the ethics board, which is another client. And then the city itself is a client. So because those parties usually have convergent interests, I can represent everyone. When their interests start diverging, then I have to actually step back and say who needs there to seek alternate representation. My obligations to the city, I have to defend the city's interests. So usually, there's no problem.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But a request like this asks me to determine whether or not an action that the city has already taken and is already in the process of moving forward with is okay. And there's a very good possibility that I will ultimately say yes. There's also a possibility that I will say no. And because there's that uncertainty, there's no way for me to do both. I would have to either go against the city's interests and not defend its ordinance, or I would have to give limited advice to the alders, essentially, the constituent, which is one client, and I can't do that. Knowing in good faith that I can't do that, I can't take it on as I just can't.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
No, I'm sorry,
I
go
hate
ahead.
when you do that to me. What if, I mean, obviously, the code of conduct was done before you start working here. and The ethics goes way back even farther. What if, as the city attorney, you sat down and looked at it and goes, oh, I think these things are way
So-
out in left field?
This is actually what I can do. If we have errors in the code of conduct or in the ethics code, and we need to make revisions, I can always recommend that those be done. The problem we have with this request is it's asking me to look at it as applied, which means that I'm looking at how it's being
Used currently?
used currently, and then it's how we're currently implementing it. If we're looking at changing a position, that's fine, but if we're looking at how we're gonna deal with it right now, we've already stated our position.
And we have, okay. So where do we go from here?
So from here, so this is the second aspect of it. This, if we're going to make changes to the ethics code or the code of conduct, and I think that it's worth looking at. What we have discovered from this process is that it's a little awkward to administer, which means that we can clean it up. And so when we're doing the cleaning up, we can always look at it to see if there's any changes that you guys feel are appropriate. to make to the text itself as well. And so in doing that, it should be referred back to the Ethics Committee because that's the body that you guys have tasked with making recommendations on it. So that would be my recommendation, is if you guys want to make changes to the Ethics Code, have us look at it to recommend changes to it, we can do that. And that's not a conflict. And the reason I say that is because it does not require me to say whether or not it is unconstitutional or if the procedure lacks the process or anything like that. It basically tells you there's things that I think we could do better, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because we can do it better.
What about what he's requesting, though? He wants a legal opinion about the constitutionality of this. So even if we refer it back to the Ethics Committee, the Ethics Committee says either A, no, fine the way it is, or B, yeah, let's make some changes, we still can't apply those changes to the current issue which is on the table.
Correct.
Which is what his request is about. So then how do we still satisfy his request as to the constitutionality of it?
So there is no way for us to look at, or the law department to look at it. Now, if the council wanted to hire somebody to consider a position at First to the City, that's up to the council. Or if individuals want to hire an attorney to determine whether or not they should be subjected to it, which is what usually happens when you have somebody come under it as part of a complaint, that's fine too. But the city attorney's office can't do it.
So
We just can't.
we either hire legal representation to represent Alderman Zima as to the constitutionality of this, or we hire legal representation to, what was the second one?
The second was he does it himself. So the city doesn't
He
have to.
hires his own attorney.
Yeah, there's
And
nothing
then-
on the city requiring you to look into.
Do we have to
this.
reimburse them if whoever he hires comes through and says this thing is constitutionally bad?
No.
It would be an opinion, it would be a legal opinion.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah.
It's
Everyone's
always a
got an
legal opinion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is starting to sound like stuff from the county board.
Yeah, I think we can just receive and place on file.
You can.
I like that.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to refight the fight that he lost against the code of conduct. And I certainly respect his opinion, but I don't think that we need to refight that fight. The council has made its decision on that. We do have our ordinance. He can certainly take action on his own if he wants. I have no doubt in my mind that we are certainly within our constitutional bounds. We are certainly not the only city that has a code of conduct and ethics to follow. So I'll make the motion to
I'll second
receive
it.
and place on file.
I'll second that.
Motion by myself to receive and place on file, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Crickets.
Motion passes. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Oh,
Second.
let's do it. Okay.
Motion by Alder to adjourn, seconded by Alder Galvin. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Yeah, he's gonna pull it. He's gonna pull it. He'll pull it.
Vanessa, do you know who does the minutes for the sexual offender registry? Because I want it,
Mary Sue.
Mary Sue. Because it didn't indicate that Alder Nennig was there to represent me or that I had submitted a letter in those minutes.